Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by Milo Tree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Blogger Genius. Today, my guest is Maria Koutsoyannis from the blog Food by Maria. She's a she's a food stylist, she is a recipe creator, an unbelievable photographer, but really she is an Instagram influencer. She is one of the biggest influencers I've interviewed so far on the podcast. She has over 170,000 followers. She's been able to build an incredibly successful business off the platform. If you are interested in learning about Instagram, this is definitely the episode for you. She shares about her staff, she shares about her process, and also she shares about how she is expanding beyond Instagram to build her business. So without further ado, here is my interview with Maria. Maria, welcome to the show.
Hello, Jillian. Thanks for having me today.
I found you because I was looking at some sites that use Milo Tree, our pop-up, and you use it, and you are a food blogger, and I think you are growing Instagram with your Milo Tree pop-up. Does that sound kind of right to you?
Yeah, that's exactly why we're using it.
Okay, so you are a beautiful food blogger. And so I want to know how you got started in this and what your entrepreneurial journey's been like.
So honestly, it all sort of happened not by chance, like I didn't try, but it was something that I was thinking about doing for a really long time. And I ended up in a situation where I wasn't exactly happy. I was studying accounting. So I finished my accounting. I ended up being an accountant in the UK.
Wow.
I was a bit miserable and I was like, you know what? Let's do something else. But the reason that it sort of ended up on my lap per se is because I was diagnosed with IBS after suffering with an eating disorder for 6 years. Wow. So what essentially happened was they were like, hey, you have IBS. We're going to give you something called a FODMAP. Have a look at it. There's a list of foods you can't eat, and here are a list of foods you can eat. And immediately I was sort of like, well, this sort of looks like an eating disorder, but on a piece of paper. So
wow.
I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this. I followed the general guidelines for a little bit because I was in a lot of pain, so I was willing to do anything to alleviate like the gas, the bloating, the constipation, the constant feeling of like carrying an extra 300 pounds on my body. But then before I knew it, I was like, you know what? No, this isn't working. Like I'm obsessed with what I eat again, and I don't think this is healthy. So what I did was I created an account called Food by Maria to document for myself what I was eating, and what was sort of triggering me. Obviously, I like had family members follow and my friends, but like I didn't anticipate to sort of, hit the thousands mark. And and then that's basically the rest was history. I was really bad at photography for the first 2 years. I was very inconsistent. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was always wondering like, why aren't I growing? Because at this point I was like, I have no other choice. I don't want to go back to accounting. Let's make this work.
Okay. Now, what year is this?
I don't remember. I get some of the years confused, but I think 2015.
Okay.
I think. And then into the end of 2015, I got my dad to buy me a camera, and that's sort of the game-changing point. I went from like 6,000 followers to I think in 2016 or 17. This is why it gets so confusing, because the years, when you're having this much fun, you don't really tell time.
I like that.
I hit like 50,000 followers, and then I hit 100,000 followers. It all happened very quickly.
Wow. Okay. How did you do that? And this is all on Instagram?
Yes. Instagram was a bit different back in the day. You'd get reshared a lot. People like Whole Foods, the Huffington Post, HuffPost Paste, other like trying to think. Other food bloggers would repost you, and you would just grow differently. The algorithm back then was much, much different to what it is now. So I feel like I got in at a good time. And now
Mm.
it feels as though you have to really work to grow, which is fine. I'm happy working, but it's just a different environment. But yeah, basically that's where we're at. So my photography started to get better. We launched our first ever website. I think it was October 15th.
So,
October,
okay,
no,
initially then, Food by Maria was just on Instagram, or you also had your blog?
okay, so I wasn't taking it very seriously, but I did decide just before I bought my camera in October 2015 that I was
Just
going to buy a camera and start a blog. So on
okay,
October 1st, I did start a blog. But this
okay,
is still in the middle of not really knowing what I was doing. This is the part, remember, where I said I had no other choice. I wanted to make Food by Maria work, but I still
got
had
it.
no idea what that meant.
Okay, okay,
So then the blog was like, subpar, beautifully curated by my friend Caitlin, but
okay.
it was lacking things like SEO. I wasn't creating the right recipes. I wasn't talking to my audience accordingly. I wasn't really telling people about the recipes on the blog. It was just very patchy, but I think that's sort of what needed to happen in order to learn. Because since I was young, I've always been like the type of person who learns through experience, and that's always been the best for me. And then
Okay.
that's basically the evolution of Food by Maria. It was just continuously exploring photography, learning about videography, learning that I didn't have to do everything and that I could hire out. So, for instance, I have someone who helps with my videography now. And in the past, I was always like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. Well, if you're not good at something, you should just hire someone who is.
So,
So,
what does that mean that you hire out video?
I have a videographer.
And does your videographer come to your house and you make the recipes and your videographer shoots them, or is somebody creating the recipes for you? Like,
The,
doing the video of the recipe.
so the first one, they'll come to our studio or our setting space or wherever it is we've chosen to shoot, and we'll create the magic. He'll go home and edit it, and then he'll send me the final copy.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And first of all, who is the we? Who's on your team?
Right now, today, there are, gosh, I don't even know how many. There's Raquel, who helps with my collaborations, sort of like a marketing representative or maybe like a PR in a sense.
Okay. Okay.
I have someone whose name is Elisa who helps with some of my blog posts, my Pinterest, and just like the general vibe of kind of the aesthetic.
Okay.
So let's say I create an image, she'll kind of take that photo and she'll turn it into like a fun collage or creates gorgeous pin photos for it. So just like keeps Food by Marie on brand with the things that I don't necessarily have time to do when I'm shooting.
Okay.
We have someone called Vivian. She is an intern who helps with all of my comments on Instagram.
Okay.
We have Eli, who also does the videography, as we mentioned. So everything from editing, shooting, and compiling the final product that is then sent to the client.
Okay.
Who else do we have? We have my team over in New York, Barrel. They are the website developers.
Okay.
We have Caitlin, who's my designer from Pebble Creative.
Okay.
I feel like that. Like I have other humans, a friend of mine, Chloe, who comes over sometimes to help me prepare food. There's photographers that will help me, like, if I need my hand or a more lifestyle shot. But
Okay.
other than that, that's basically the team that I've grown in the past year. That's
Wow.
happened in the past. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about then. It looks like you have a big operation. And and you're monetizing this mostly working with brands, right?
At the time being, yeah. Obviously not the best way, because obviously that means that a lot of them are coming from Instagram. And what we're hoping to do is make it so that Instagram collaborations maintain themselves as they are. So as many as I'm doing a month now, but we're hoping to sort of monetize Food by Maria in a sense of maybe more passive income, more cookbook sales, more app sales, more, you know, revenue generation from the blog itself through ads or maybe ebook sales, through products and other like entrepreneurship ventures that we take on. Because if you think about it, ultimately, Instagram can't be my sole income forever because Instagram's continuously changing. So you just never know what happens. So the goal with Food by Maria right now is to create that umbrella and figure out which avenue is the best for revenue stream and then go from there. But collaborations have been amazing for us and we don't plan on changing that at all. If anything, we're going to continue growing, but just making sure that there's something else that's generating more. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally. Now let's then dive deep into Instagram food collaborations. Like walk me through the process, and most of these brands are finding you on Instagram.
Yeah, and actually a lot more recently through my blog as well, through like the contact tab.
Okay.
There's like two ways this will happen, or maybe like three. One, I'll reach out. Two, the client or the brand will reach out. Three, referral. So this can look anything like, hi Maria, I represent X brand and I would love to work with you. Please send over your rate sheet, your media kit. So this can go in any of three ways, basically. So a client will reach out, I will reach out, or I'll be referred by someone.
Okay.
So if a client reaches out to me, what basically happens is they'll be like, hello, my name is Michelle and I represent brand. And they'll say, this is the scope of the campaign. Here are the deliverables, or we're hoping to work with this budget. Please tell us what you can give us with that. Please send over your rate sheet, media card, and maybe like a portfolio sometimes. So Raquel will then send over like a file that we have some examples of my work, some videos that Eli and I have put together, my rate sheet, and my media kit. And then we wait. And then the negotiation process basically happens. And then the same thing would happen if I did it, but obviously a bit different. So I just like, hello, my name is Food by Maria. I am the founder of Food by Maria. You can find my Instagram link here. Here is a link to my website. I am a health, food, fitness, representative in the food, like in the plant-based world. I would love to discuss or chat with someone from your marketing team to hopefully, connect and collaborate and create some gorgeous content. Please feel free to reach out to me. Attached, I have included my media kit and rate, or not my rate sheet, just my media kit. I would love to chat to you. And then once again, you just wait. Or other times it will be like someone I have worked with in the past, and they'll be like, hey, Maria created gorgeous content, would love to set you up with her. Please feel free to, ask her any questions. And then that's sort of what happens. So if you continue to create really great content for these clients, people talk in that world and they end up referring you.
Got it. Now, when you're reaching out to a brand, are you emailing them? Are you direct messaging them? How are you doing that?
I will typically direct message them like a curated for them DM, just saying like, hey, we're aligned, I believe in your product, or I've tried your product, or I would love to try your product and share it with like my followers. If you're interested, please send me like an appropriate email to someone in marketing or whoever deals with collaborations. And then they'll typically respond with yes, no, and an email. Okay. And I will then take that email and send them another email with all of the information that I had mentioned before.
Got it. Okay. And so explain your media kit a little bit. You said it had some videos, anything. Is it like what does it actually look like? Is it just a bunch of links to things?
No, it's a really, really like high end. Let me just pull it up.
Is it like a PDF?
Yep, it's PDF. You can't manipulate it. Where are we? Here we are. Nope, that's the wrong one. So my media kit has like photography on it, a little bit about myself, let them get to know me, things like where I'm from, what I believe in, what I've been doing, how long I've been doing this, some example work, some of my light and airy, more moody, more lifestyle shots just to give them an example of like what I create. There's a full bio about myself saying, how many Instagram followers, how many blog views we have. And then there's past partnerships list where I have like some of the best brands we've worked with. We just put their logos.
Okay.
And then let's work together. So things like sponsored posts, recipe development, brand ambassador, Instagram videos, event hosting, YouTube video, product review, food photography, or product placement. And then a link to all my socials with their audience. And then say hello. So for more details, pricing, or general media inquiries, please contact hello@Food by Maria. So it's just a very gorgeous media kit, and it gives them an example of exactly what they'll be seeing. It's like it's your elevator pitch, but on paper.
And how many pages is it in your PDF?
They're like thinner, longer ones, but I would say it's 6, but it's only actually like 3 just because of the way that the length is.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so a brand, let's say, and by the way, currently, how many Instagram followers do you have?
I think we're at 170 right now.
Okay. And is that really what brands are mostly drawn to? So do most brands want you to be posting about their products on Instagram or the recipes that you've developed with their products? Or are they saying we also want a blog post and, Pinterest pins, that kind of thing?
It honestly depends. I feel like what catches the client's eye is my photography, and then the following, and then the related price. So if the price speaks good to the followers, then they're like, Kate, let's get it on Instagram. If they have a higher budget, then they'll put it on the blog too. Then they get even more photos. Pinterest is sort of included because it benefits me as well. If it's a lovely recipe, which it always is we're getting more traction and people over on Pinterest. So yeah, what we've been noticing a lot lately is we do a lot of retainers. So we like to get the brands that we love working with us on a more long-term basis. So we have prices curated for 12 months, 6 months, and 3 months, which have been really good for us. It creates consistency, and not only that, but our followers see that we're actually true to the brand, so it creates that brand loyalty, and then the followers actually see like this isn't just a one-off. She really believes in this product. Like she's clearly sharing it because she likes it.
Right. So like if, for example, it's a 6-month engagement, how many posts would that be over 6 months?
That varies, but according to my retainer offer, it's just 1 a month.
Okay.
So coupled with things like blog post, the recipe development, some stories, the Pinterest, the Facebook, and obviously all the edited images that they own.
Got it. Can you give me an example of like your ideal brand that you work with? Or like a couple of your favorite brands?
Oh gosh, there are so many. I loved working with Google. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Eves was great. Silver Hills. Some of my dream clients are people like, really would love to work with Field Roast or Beyond Meat or, oh gosh, there are so many.
Okay.
There's just, or even just like collaborating with someone like Amazon or, I don't know, just the possibilities are really endless. Meeting fun chefs. There's so many cool collaborations in the works right now, and just the doors that they open are really awesome. We're actually attending an amazing summit that I can't actually say much about, but in 2 weeks we're going to Toronto for a huge event that we're really, really lucky to be invited to. I'm one of 10 people chosen in Canada to go to this to represent our country. Wow. So it's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really exciting. Yeah.
Now, what would you say, given your experience working with brands, what are some of the things where brands overreach or, issues that you've had with brands, and then how you deal with that?
That's one of the reasons why I actually have Raquel, because I feel like that really puts a strain on like my creativity. But what happens is sometimes maybe the brand won't communicate, or maybe we won't understand their communication, or maybe there'll be an error in shipment or product, or maybe there wasn't enough clarity in the why am I blanking? In the contract. So maybe it just didn't make it clear exactly what they wanted, but based on the contract is what we did. Does that make sense? So sometimes we don't elaborate enough. But I mean, other than that, we've worked with nothing but amazing, amazing clients. I think the worst that's ever happened to us was we got the wrong product and the content was shot and we had to redo it. But I mean, other than that, we've been pretty fortunate. We've people are people are good to us. When you create good content, you get good stuff in return.
Are you a blogger or entrepreneur whose traffic has taken a hit due to those ever-changing social media algorithms? Have you heard that the real money is in your email list, but you don't know how to increase your subscribers? Do you feel overwhelmed with trying to grow your social media followers and trying to be in all places all the time? If any of these describe you, I want to share a tool that will increase your social media followers, grow your email list, and bring in more traffic to your Shopify or Etsy store. Well, it's called MiloTree. MiloTree is an app that my husband David built for our site, Catch My Party. So when we began Catch My Party back in 2009, Facebook was sending us loads of traffic and we were growing like crazy. Well, that is until a sudden algorithm change had us scrambling. We knew that Pinterest was the best place to get more traffic, and so in 2015, David built a pop-up to grow our Pinterest followers, knowing that the more followers you have, the more traffic to your site. Well, it worked immediately, and it worked really well. In the 4 years that we've been using the MiloTree app on Catch My Party, our Pinterest account has grown exponentially to over 1.1 million followers, and Pinterest now drives millions of page views to our site every single month. Then in 2016, we decided to roll out the MiloTree app to help other online entrepreneurs and bloggers. So we had originally built our pop-up for Pinterest, but after seeing how effective it was for our own business and hearing from hundreds of satisfied customers, we decided to expand the app to include not only Pinterest, but Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Shopify, Etsy, and even your email list. MiloTree is easy to use. It can be installed on your site in under 3 minutes, even if you have zero design or technical skills. And as fellow online entrepreneurs, we understand the importance of site speed and staying in Google's good graces. So MiloTree was built to be lightning fast and Google friendly. The MiloTree app is also customizable. You can focus on growing one platform at a time or switch between several. The choice is yours. Now, we provide you with the analytics you need to decide which platform to focus on and what works best for you. Right now, you can get your first 30 days for free. Just go to milotree.com to sign up for your free trial. And don't let anybody tell you that traffic doesn't matter. It matters a lot. Whether you want to work with a premium ad agency, go after larger brand sponsorships, or simply have more people to market your own products to, your traffic must be growing. If you are not converting readers into followers and subscribers and customers, you need to change your strategy, because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you'll keep having the same results. MiloTree will get you the results you need, but it can't help you unless you add it to your site. So take the first step today and head over to milotree.com and start your free 30-day trial. There are no contracts, you can cancel anytime. And as a bonus, once you sign up, I'll send you valuable business tips each week to help you continue to grow your business. Also, if you have any trouble installing it, we're here to help you. You can't be everywhere all the time, so let MiloTree work for you. It's fast, it's easy, and it gets results. So what are you waiting for? Get your free trial today. Go to milotree.com. Okay, now in terms of your content, the first thing I was drawn to was how beautiful it is. And you were not a photographer.
No.
And so how did you create such a beautiful style. Like your stuff has a real style to it.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, trial and error. Uh, Surrounding myself with people who I'm very inspired with and their photography, and constantly trying to learn, exploring different types of light, um, owning pretty good camera gear, knowing when to shoot and how to shoot, watching YouTube videos, practicing, never settling. It's I mean it's like any other business, right? Like how does a man who, fixes cars become the best person who fixes cars? Why do people constantly go back to him? It's because he's never just stagnant. He's always learning, he's doing something different, he's talking, he's letting people know. It's all a trial and error process sort of. But I honestly think following people who inspire you or people that you look up to is huge, because if they're constantly growing and changing, then I mean, naturally you should want to grow and change too, because the only thing in life that's permanent is change.
I agree. I say that a lot. I say that a lot. And what does it feel like then to be an Instagram influencer? Meaning you're also a personality.
Yeah.
And how is that for you?
For me, it just feels like I'm talking to like 50 or 100 people. I'm not really afraid of like the number behind it. So I don't, you hear a lot of influencers, if you will. I would rather just be called someone you look up to. um, Deal a lot with like worrying about what other people are going to think, or if you post that, or if you post this. I think it's a great platform to share creative, positive, good energy and just show people how anyone can do this. I was actually sharing some photos from the past on my stories today, and just how much my photography has changed. And it's really cool to see, because a lot of people sort of see your chapter 20 when they're in their chapter 1, and they think
Yes.
like, holy hell, she's so talented. But meanwhile, if you show them your chapter 1, they're like, oh, but we're relatable. It's like
Right.
she's just
Right.
started a bit earlier than me. Um,
Right.
so I don't know. I just use it as an opportunity to sort of just stay real, stay honest. I have a pretty foul mouth. I swear a lot. So I'm very like just to the point, upfront. I am who I am. And I think a lot of the people that are on Food by Maria just know what they're in for. Like raw, honest. They're just excited to be there.
Got it. Now, do you collaborate or have a community of other food bloggers?
I was actually having this conversation with a friend the other day. No, but it's definitely hitting the market. Like, we're noticing that because collaborations and paid partnerships are becoming so big, that why wouldn't a client want to couple with like someone else who's just as incredible as the human they want to work with, and like create that like powerhouse. So if I collaborated with someone to my caliber, that would be amazing for the client. But I don't do that yet. It's totally something that I look forward to talking about with some of my friends who are really talented.
Got it. And do you answer your DMs, like every single one? Or do you have a team who help you?
No, no one deals with my DMs. That's a bit private just because of the eating disorder background. So I get a lot of like pretty personal messages.
Okay.
So I have someone who does all my comments, because that's just a lot of work. But in terms of DMs, I typically do them all myself. I can't get to every single one because that's pretty mentally draining, but I try my best.
Okay. And how much of the time do you talk openly about your past and the struggles that you've gone through?
It's pretty balanced. I find a way to sort of talk about it almost every day, but in a very like down to earth reminder way, sort of like, this is what I've been through. You can, push through this in any different aspect of your life. So maybe you haven't suffered through an eating disorder, but I know what it feels like to feel like shit. So like if you're trying to come out of something, then just know it's possible because I did it too. Or even just, what I had a conversation about earlier today with photography and how you can always improve. So things like that I feel like are very inspiring for people, just to know that you're not just this human on this pedestal. It is achievable to, create an Instagram account and earn all your revenue from it, or perhaps like grow the strength to leave your relationship or quit your job, or I don't know, just speak up for yourself. It's just a very safe space where I feel like I just share my everyday. And then through that, it's sort of like, because of my eating disorder, I can now do this, or I'm glad I did this, or I'm glad I experienced that. So I don't think I necessarily speak on eating disorders every day, but I certainly use my experiences to show others how they can like sort of change too.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. I think that's really inspiring. Now, then just in terms of content, how many recipes, say, a week are you creating? How many posts are you putting up? Like, what's your schedule like?
For sure. So in terms of like Instagram posts, I'll do anything from like 1 to 2 a day, probably.
Okay. And these are in your feed?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I will do maybe 1 to 3 blog posts a week, depending on how many like paid collaborations versus like the free content that I love giving comes out.
Okay. Okay.
Trying to think what else. And I have my
How about
schedule.
stories?
Stories every day, honestly, just as however much I feel like talking that day, but typically every day. I like engaging with them every day. And then
which do you think is more, oh, sorry, I was just having a conversation today with a friend about this, which is, which do you think in today's world people are more engaged with, your feed or your stories?
I think if you're engaged in your stories, then people will engage in your feed. But if you're not so I guess the answer is stories, just because it really shows your true colors and who you are, and people want to see that. If you are real, we see that a lot too. People, like the feed that you see on Food by Maria is like put together, edited, aesthetic, gorgeous, composition, the right colors. Like it's really like, hello, this is pretty food. But then if you go to my stories, it's a mix of like, oh, this girl has acne scars. She's not wearing makeup. She doesn't care about what her stories look like. She's just sharing a message. And then it's like a mix of sharing my beautiful photography and then my story, or maybe swipe up to read this or check out this new podcast. So it's a really fun blend of like the reality of my life, but sort of the beautiful business that I also have.
Got it. So it's like you get to see the behind the scenes.
Yes. As much
the imperfections.
Yes, absolutely.
The aspirational and kind of what it takes to get there.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. And so are you and do you shoot and do all of this at your home, in a studio? What does your work setup look like?
It's in my kitchen, and then I have like a big dining room window that I typically shoot by. I used to shoot outside, but when the content flow got bigger, it was just not as convenient to be outside. So
and you're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So you don't get a lot of sun in the winter time.
I mean, we live in the brightest city in North America. We have 333 days of pure blue skies. But yes.
Oh my gosh.
You're right.
Where are you? Where are you?
Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. Sometimes in winter the sun will come up at 8 and it will go down at 4. But we rarely have like, where do you live again?
Austin.
Yeah, so you guys are like pretty bright, but we don't ever have like gray smugginess. Like it's never like London or Vancouver weather.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can use your window.
Absolutely. But you have to make sure you hit it at the right time, or else you end up with kind of like dim light. Oh, I live in a condo, so that like doesn't obviously speak to everyone in Calgary, but I have this big building covering some of my light, so I have to be strategic about when I shoot.
When you shoot. And then how do you get inspired in terms of new recipes?
So new recipes I'll ask my followers about, or I'll sort of go onto my blog and see what's been doing well. I am known for my savory comfort food, so things like my one pot coconut curry noodle bowl, my black bean meatballs, my pot stickers with the chili aioli sauce, um, my moussaka, lasagna, grandma's spaghetti sauce. So as you can see, the trend is quite like comforting, but still very dinner style.
Okay.
So I kind of just play on that. And that's what I love to eat most. Like obviously I love a dessert, but my photography has never been very focused on like sweet treats. So I always just stay safe, and maybe the ratio is like 90% savory and 10% like sweets. And
Mm.
just based on that, I kind of like explore Pinterest for photography ideas, or maybe the client that I'm working with will have a specific, like, if I'm working with a beet company, then maybe I'll have like a beet with like a vegan blue cheese and like oh my gosh, a walnut and a watercress type salad with like a reduction or a balsamic dressing. So I kind of just like exactly that process you heard me say there is like how I think like out loud. I'm like, what are the flavors and textures that I want in my mouth? What is it that I want to see? How is this going to
Mm.
photograph? Is that color going to wilt? Is it going to look ugly? How am I going to prepare this? So there's just so many things you kind of have to think about from the beginning to end. And as you get better at blogging and content creation, development, and just learning what your client wants and what you need to execute the best possible content, you get
Right.
good at that. You create these steps and you sort of go through them. And what I've noticed is when I try and skip a step, I screw up everything. And I know it's like, oh, you'd think that you wouldn't because you've done this for so long. No, there is a system in place for a reason. You have to really think about it. Do you need everything for props? Yes. Don't ever skip a step. It's as simple as that. If you want to get paid good money, if you want clients to continue working with you, if you want, to execute great content, then just follow this method, which I've sort of put together for myself, and it just ends up working out.
Wow. Now, I know you're making video. Do you make video for every single recipe?
Nope, that's extra. Well, it's not extra, but like they have to ask for it.
Okay. And then, but do you make video for your own recipes that aren't sponsored?
No, not yet, because I pay Eli. So we're not in a position to do that quite yet. But in the future, I do hope to bring him on. We'll have a conversation, see how many days a week he can help me, what types of lifestyle shots we can do, and then we go from there.
Got it. Okay. Now, how important, if at all, is Facebook to you?
To be honest, I never really got into Facebook. I know that it's important. That's something that we're going to start exploring mid-year, getting that we're going to create like a Facebook community. We're relaunching the website. So just create a community of people with questions, who want answers. Um, we're creating something called a premium content package. So we'll have conversations and discussions about that there. But I know that Facebook is great for ads and obviously, leaving that niche and exploring different demographic and age group. And there's obviously different content that needs to be shared on Facebook as well, because Instagrammers are so different to Facebookers. Yeah.
Yes. 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 How about YouTube then?
Not yet, but also on our bucket list. As soon as we narrow down like 10 great videos, we'll launch. But you need to have like good content first, and then we'll start promoting it.
Got it. So it's funny because, again, Instagram really has been your platform.
Yes, it has.
And do you use how often, how much time are you on Instagram per day?
I think my phone says 3 hours.
A day
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Yes.
And do you like it personally, or has it become more of a work platform?
Well, I mean, it is my work. So it is certainly a work platform. And that's what also keeps my mental mindset in check. Because if I was spending 3 hours on Instagram and it wasn't my job, I would go to a doctor. I would ask for help. But because it's my job, then I'm not doing enough work. If I'm only spending 3 hours a day on my like one of my largest revenue streams, then that tells you, we're doing okay. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
it's just about figuring out that balance. But to answer your question, I do really like Instagram. Obviously, there are a lot of like mental health issues that come with working for yourself or being glued to your phone. But I've just tried very hard to remind myself this is your job. Someone is sitting at home in front of their computer working, and I'm sitting in front of my phone working. That's all it is. So I just try and remind myself this is your job. This isn't an addiction. This isn't anything. This is just what you do for a living.
Got it. And to continue to grow your Instagram followers, I know you are using MiloTree as a way to do it
Yeah.
by adding it to your blog. Are you also reaching out then to other people, leaving comments, following other people? Like, what is your strategy in that respect
On Instagram, the platform.
on
Yeah,
Instagram?
I mean, that's what Vivian does too, is we're constantly engaging. The people I follow, we encourage. There's a community where you obviously have a sense of like communication. You let them know that you love their photo or that you tried their recipe or that, just in general, like, hey, I hope you're doing great. Um, when you do get a bit bigger, though, and this is obviously something I need to work on, you do forget to engage with other people other than who you're following because you want them to discover you too. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just a balance of realizing you can't do everything at once. So we're trying our best. We engage as much as we can. I try my best to engage as much as I can, but it's tough. So as we continue to grow or as I expand my team, maybe Vivian will start doing more of that. She does already help a bit, but I mean, I think according to Instagram, in order to like really do well, you have to do like a couple hours of that a day. Like you need to be glued to your phone. Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it. Yes. And that's definitely not healthy.
No.
Okay. And in terms of just briefly hashtags,
Yes.
how do you think about hashtags?
Oh, I'm the last person you should ask hashtags about. I've been using the same hashtags for so long. I don't want to get too much into like the finicky stuff of it. I'm sure it has a lot to do with it. I listen to Jenna Kutcher a lot, and she does say that switching up your hashtags and stuff helps.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't explored that yet. But that's certainly like as we grow, we're really changing at Food by Maria. We're growing. We're hoping to, obviously expand. And with that comes more research and learning more about every little aspect of your business. How are we going to continue to grow, improve YouTube, Facebook, hashtag,
Yep.
communication, engagement, generation, recipe development. So there's so much that we need to think about. But hopefully things will just start falling into place as they are. And then that will allow us to like figure out how to properly use hashtags or,
Right.
but then
Well, I love your honesty in that you're like, you know what? We're growing, we're building, and we're learning as we go, and we'll expand to certain platforms when it's the right time. Like, I love that. That you're like, this is working for us, and we're digging in, and we'll spread our wings as we can as we continue to grow.
absolutely.
So I think that is terrific. Okay, if you had any parting advice for, say, a food blogger who really wants to take it to the next level, what would you say to them?
I would say this is just like without thinking.
Go ahead.
I would say for sure, make sure that you're using like professional photography gear or like a good camera because that makes a huge difference. People eat with their eyes, they want to see stunning photography. Make sure you're using like a backdrop and you're, using Pinterest as your inspiration to create that composition or, generate really gorgeous photos. And then second, I would say if you're starting to earn money and you have a little bit of wiggle room, hire people to help you because it's so important to realize that there's probably two things in life that you're great at. And the rest of it you might be shit at, you might be average at. Hire people to help you. I am great at talking and getting people's attention. I can hold a room and I'm very good at like the engagement process. And I'm also good at obviously the cooking and the content creation. Other than that, I'm not very good at maybe negotiating rates. Maybe I get a bit anxious thinking about payments. So I like deal with some of that, but I have someone helping me. I have someone helping with my videography because I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to edit a video. It's just so important to do what you're good at, what you're great at, and then hire others to help you. And it makes a huge difference. You don't.
Oh, Maria, I think that is such good advice. Okay, if people want to reach out to you, how can they find you? What's the best way?
Email Raquel at hello@foodbymaria.com.
How do you spell Raquel?
Raquelle. And if there's anyone out there who wants, photography done, we do that too. So remember that you don't have to be a one-stop shop. You might be great at the recipe development, but really bad at the photography. That is totally okay. Do you think Jamie Oliver takes his photos? No. So that's totally okay. So if you ever need photography done, reach out to people. If you ever need videography done, do it. But if you have the brains behind the recipes and people are loving what you're doing, don't give up, because you honestly do not need to be a one-stop shop.
Oh, Maria, I love that. Okay, so it's Maria at foodbymaria.com.
So,
and
hello@foodbymaria.com.
Oh, okay. Hello at foodbymaria.com, but also your website and your Instagram.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so go out there and say hi to Maria. Maria, thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely. And if anyone wants any more of my recipes, my cookbook is available, Mindful Vegan Meals. That wasn't like a sale insert, but if you just want to see like what else I do and where else Food by Maria is going, that's a pretty good representation. But thanks so much for having me, Jill. It was great.
Are you ready to explore Instagram and how it can explode your business? Well, Milo Tree can help. Install the Milo Tree pop-up, Instagram pop-up on your site, and let it grow your most engaged Instagram followers. Now remember, it can only help if you actually go and install it. So head to milotree.com and sign up. It'll take 2 minutes to sign up and add it to your site. And remember, you get your first 30 days free.